Metafix is a show that teaches you how to think in the metagame. I am not here to give you the answers, nor am I going to tell you how to win. Metafix teaches you how to play in the metagame and how to react around the metagame and what is in the metagame. If you're looking for the answers, try HC Realms, check the forums, they have all kinds of neat toys and tools and teams being brought up, and check the results of a lot of the ROC tournaments or any Worlds tournaments to see how teams played out and what teams were used for. I'm just here to help you think. U.S. Nationals has it hard. 128 players all in the same tournament, all fighting for that spot on the day 2 fight. I did the math. We're 128 players times 2 packs is 256 packs. That's 25 and a half bricks of, or sorry, 25 and 25.6. So 25 bricks plus 6 packs. That's 12 and a half cases. That's a lot of Trinity War that's going to be played, because they did announce that it was going to be Trinity War. Even more importantly is at 1 chase per brick, you're looking at, what did we say, 12 and a half cases, sorry. So 25 chases will be pulled in this. Add that to, on average, 3 super rares per brick. You've got to look at that and say, well, there's going to be 3 super rares per brick, 3 times 75 super rares are going to be pulled out of 128 players. That is an absolutely insane number of high rarity figures, and it's a large pool of players. So what I want to try to do is I'm going to go back in time, and we're going to go back to Trinity War Sealed, and we're going to talk about some of the things you might want to consider when playing in Trinity War Sealed. Things you'll want to plan for when you are building your Sealed team. Because with these kinds of numbers, you can guarantee a certain number of things. I want to start with the fact that this is one of those tournaments where you're going to have to consider super rares and chases and Sealed. They're going to happen. It's unavoidable. This is not a local tournament. This is massive levels of players. This is WKO level, Wizard Kids Open level of players expected at this. So, as far as some of the super rares to consider, Martian Manhunter on either side is a really good consideration. For one, if you don't pull him, he will be pulled. If 128 players do show up for this, he will be pulled, and he will do well. Martian Manhunter has 2 major things going for him. Played at 300 points, he takes away one of your actions. Now, in Sealed, more often than not, a lot of the teams are a lot smaller. But if you did happen to build a team that's more sizable, you get stuck really kind of looking at how many actions you can take. If you have a team of 2 player characters, it's less of a problem. But this character also comes with a 12 attack with probability control, 5 damage, a 19 defense. Now, that 19 defense is mitigated by the fact that it's Super Sense roll. But he comes with traded shape change, traded stealth, and traded phasing. He's mobile, he's getting places, he flies, he's indomitable. He's got a lot going for him, and that is a big thing for him. He's got an improved something, and I'm sure Amber wants to check and see if that's improved targeting, just to kind of add on to the big thing. His PD team ability is a non-issue as far as 300 points, but 7 range on this character, who's indomitable, with hypersonic, with 12 attack, with prob, he's going to be one of the toughest customers you're going to have to play in the Sealed. Now, it will be dependent. He ignores characters for movement. He ignores characters for movement. Well, I guess the phasing is kind of redundant now. Anyway, when you're making a hypersonic, he's not going to get stopped by plasticity, which is quite abundant, I've noticed, in Trinity War. So in a nutshell, this character will be one of the problems you either have to deal with or one of the problems you create for your opponent, because he's well worth the 300 points. The idea of playing him in Sealed. Be careful with your actions, though. Don't get too greedy too soon. Know when to push indomitable characters. Just because they can doesn't mean you should. Catch what I mean? As far as some of the other tougher characters, I've had a chance to use them, and this Superman at his full dial is bonkers. Another character with hypersonic, 12 attack, and 5 damage. Also indomitable, also flies, but he comes with a Superman enemy or Superman ally team ability, which means he ignores hindering for movement and, well, he flies, for line of fire purposes, which, you know, I Batman with a 7 range, right? And he also has this leadership ability, which can affect him as well, because there's all friendly characters who will get +1 attack, +1 defense from it. You're talking about a character who becomes all of a sudden a 13 attack, 20 defense if he rolls leadership. Put to 50 points on your team. That's awesome. I play him with a parody, but I don't care. There's a lot of generics in the set that work with this guy, and it doesn't matter because they get better if he's handy. So these are all, again, ideas to think about for Nationals. Black Adam is a gamble. His defense is low. His attack, if you play him on his own, is pretty decent. He comes with Mystics and Injustice League. Injustice League isn't that prominent in this set. He's a gamble, but it's a gamble that could pay off if you play it very carefully, very close to the chest. As well, there's a lot of mystical in the set, but he is hard to outwit if they're not packing that bit mystical. So some things to think about. As far as high end, think about Blight. And the reason for that is there's nothing worse than getting stuck against a character who's incredibly hard to kill, who can pulse wave, and is less worried about you taking pot shots at him. His attack values are something to be desired, but an 18 defense and sealed is pretty good, unless you're packing something that this has in great abundance, which is prob, with some CSA guys. So some people will be crazy enough to play Blight, especially if they don't like the rest of their packs, and especially if they're looking for some beef to be shooting at people. As far as the chases go, they're neat, but not a lot of them are sealed definites. If you kind of catch where I'm coming from. Pride, I say, is one of the more playable ones with her hypersonic. Probability control, defend, super senses and toughness, I believe is her defense power. Hold on, I actually brought the card for this one, of course. Yeah, defend, leadership, toughness, and colossal stamina, so she can keep going. At 127 points, she's able to mitigate the problems that come with being out of action if your team isn't that big or your opponent's team is bigger. As well, precision strike and hypersonic is an amazing combination. And if your opponent's dice are hot, she can hold on to some critical hits for later. So, more things to think about. As far as the lower ideas, there's tools to use in this set, and there's some underappreciated characters that have more going for them than what's at face value. I didn't bring down Power Ring, but Power Ring is a good character if you happen to pull Ultraman. One of the reasons I say that is that Power Ring is able to carry other CSA characters with no issue, because it's when you're not moving with Power Ring that you have to roll for his damage. Power Ring will come with the CSA team ability, which is an extra proper, and then if you happen to pull Ultraman at the same time, you've got a combination of characters that you can move up with the Power Ring, toss Ultraman forward with some TK, and Ultraman is still only on his first action that he's taken, and then he can come up and follow up with it on a second time, especially if you happen to still have this super strength with his own CSA team ability. The CSA team ability, CSA is an amazing team ability in sealed. Probability control is not in great abundance most of the time in sealed. This set, on the other hand, has prob coming from all orifices when you consider all the CSA characters and the Justice League Dark characters. So Ultraman is actually a lot more of a heavy hitter than people give him credit for. Just go back and watch our video where Amber smashes my Freddie Freeman and Despero with an Ultraman. It is gruesome, and he's an uncommon. Now, I want to talk about a very unappreciated character in the grid. The reason for that is I don't see him played a lot, but I got a chance to appreciate him when in a sealed tournament I was playing in a ROC in Windsor. What had happened was people didn't account for his outwit power. His outwit allows him to use outwit, and if the character he just outwitted attempts to attack him, the outwit comes with shape change. And if he's rolling shape change against the character he just outwitted, it's a successful on a 3, 4, 5, or 6. That's the opposite of what shape change is. Shape change is a success in 1 and 3. This is shape change on a failure in 1 and 3. So, and running shot pulse wave with CSA and Indomitable. This is a very cool character who I also think is severely overlooked. So just a thought as well, when you pull him at 115 points, he takes up just a little over a third, but you still have some room to work. I make fun of this guy regularly. Sea King is a joke as a character. This figure is not Sea King. One thing never overlook when you're playing in these tournaments is in sealed is transporter. Defenses aren't often being raised, and his 9 attack with CSA when he's transporting can go a long way. He also comes with sidestep, and he creates water at the start. If your opponent's team is mostly booted, that water will be their nightmare. And it will be a stopping point for some characters who are on the way over to you, right? And he's aquatic, so he doesn't care about the water. Deathstorm, if you keep it in a prolonged range battle, Deathstorm will piss your opponent off to no end. I couldn't find a clean word for that. He will drive your opponents nuts if you can get into a sustained long range battle, because Deathstorm's 7 range, 2 targets, and he's got this neat ability where if you don't basically kill him, he gets to roll a die after a range attack is done and heal that many clicks back. You also run the risk when you do that, when you force that on him, of him showing up with a 4 attack or 4 damage or a 3 damage. As well, he's got a perplex ability that works really well against low point characters, giving them a +2 as opposed to a +1 to any stat except damage. Very, very cool effect. Mino and Bizarro. Bizarro is not overlooked. In sealed at 215 points, he's with traded super strength and 5 damage. I'd be firing quick bullets at him very fast, very muchly, because otherwise he will overwhelm you and get in your face in a real big hurry. This Luther, this uncommon Luther, at 200 points is actually a very, very solid piece to be playing. The Subterfuge token gives you first strike. And I can't tell you how important first strike is, especially when that first strike is pulse wave with running shot and flight. And he's also a wild card, so you'll have room at 200 points to possibly throw some characters that might have this. CSA is not copyable. Might have Mystics. Some of them have Mystics. I mean, can't argue with Mystics, right? Ooh, excuse me. That was very rude of me. So that's some ideas for Trinity War seals, some things to consider. Trinity War is a very versatile set, though. I barely scratched the surface of some of the things to be worried about, to consider. And there will be strange things that you come across. You cannot plan for sealed. Sealed is a very difficult environment to plan in. So it is a reaction-based environment. You have to react to being put in strange situations. As far as map choices, I don't know what's going to be available at a sealed national level. It's going to be very difficult to choose the maps that you're going to be choosing. Excuse me. I wish everybody who's playing this weekend very good luck in the nationals, sealed and constructed portion. And may the best player come out on top. And don't forget, guys, practice makes your team better. The opinions and thoughts brought to you in Metafix are not meant for the casual game at the table. Married with Clix is brought to you by Majestic's Heroclix sales down in Costa Mesa, California. Right now, they're in the middle of storefront change. In the meantime, don't forget to check out their eBay store. If you check the link down below, they always have great Heroclix stuff at fantastic prices, and they'll ship just about anywhere.